Aren't you a little short for a stormtrooper?
What's up, nerds? Welcome to another episode of the Multiverse Report. We are recapping the week's nerdy news from Arkham Asylum to Alias investigations and everywhere in between. I'm one of your co-hosts, Mike Gibson. With me, as always, is Steve Haller. What's up, Steve?
Well, audio issues for anyone who's here in the pod, but I think we got her straightened out. Other than that, we lost an hour of sleep, and now we're just running on fumes recording this, so let's roll.
Yeah, we did lose an hour of sleep. Unfortunately, very sadly, that's not all we lost. Today, a few hours ago, it was reported that Oscar-winning, definitely nominated, actor William Hurt has passed away at the age of 71. Yes.
Okay, for anyone who can't see the pod, I just realized I just had a moment because I did not know this news.
Yeah, and you didn't look at the rundon clearly before we started going.
May not have copied that part into my podcast notes, so well.
Yes. For fans of nerd cinema, William Hurt portrayed General Thunderbolt Ross in the MCU in The Incredible Hulk and also Captain America: Civil War and Avengers and Infinity War.
Yeah,
Infinity War. I believe he was probably would have shown up in further things.
Dare I say shot some stuff. Thunderbolts?
Yeah, maybe. He was also Oscar nominated for Kiss of the Spider Woman, A History of Violence, which is a graphic novel adaptation, which is an incredible movie, and a weird little movie named Dark City that I love so very much, but nobody saw, and so many other great roles. This guy was such a good actor. Apparently he had pancreatic cancer, and he passed away in his sleep at the age of 71. So rest in peace, William Hurt. You are an incredible gift to movies and cinema and just the world. So we thank you very much. And if you haven't seen A History of Violence, he is incredible in that movie, and he's in like 20 minutes of it towards the end, and he crushes it. He's so good. It's maybe one of my favorite performances. He's just so good in it.
Nice.
So anyway, shout out to William Hurt. You will be missed. Jumping into some real, honest to God, nerd news. This week, starting with some DC stuff, we got a big shakeup at DC. And it's weird because I'm just thinking right now, like, what, 2 months ago, we got a big shakeup with Marvel delaying all of their movies. And now DC is doing the same thing. And the reason that they gave for at least 2 of the movies is something I didn't even think of for the Marvel stuff when we were talking about it, but is legitimate. DC has shuffled around a number of their upcoming releases, but specifically Aquaman and The Flash are being pushed into 2023 due to COVID-related production delays with visual effects. That makes tons of sense. All these movies are crazy effects heavy, especially Aquaman and The Flash.
Right.
Those are definitely, you're a world underwater. That isn't a whole boatload, yeah. pun intended, of CG. And, anyone that can, the fastest man alive, moving through the Speed Force, running through alternate dimensions and timelines and universes, that's going to take a lot of CGI as well. I actually saw a critic, a reviewer comment. It was like a screenshot of like a social media post where he was kind of reporting the story and saying that it was due to COVID-related visual effects. And James Wan, director of Aquaman and Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, responded to it saying, there'd be absolutely, he said, I just finished shooting this movie 2 months ago, 0% chance I could have it done by the end of this year, because it was supposed to come out in December of this year. So James Wan seemingly confirming on social media that it is effects related, which is why they're pushing it.
Right.
But those aren't the only 2 that got moved. Black Adam got moved from July 29th of this year to October 21st. So we have to wait until the fall now to see Black Adam. DC's League of Super Pets gets moved up and takes Black Adam's original date, July 29th. So, and then Shazam also moves up 6 whole months. That was going to come out in June of 2023, and now it's coming out the end of this year, December 12th, 2022. So now we got DC's League of Super Pets on July 29th when we were supposed to see Black Adam. Black Adam is in October 2022. Shazam is in December, 2 months after Black Adam. And then we got to wait until April of 2023 for Aquaman And the biggest bummer of all for me, we got to wait till November 4th, 2023 to see The Flash.
So
That is a bummer.
Yeah, that's about a year bump on The Flash from what we were thinking, right? We were thinking like Q4 this year.
That is a movie that was supposed to come out in, I believe, November of this year, I think. I think it was Black Adam was in July, and then Flash. Well, I have it right here. Don't I have do I have it in the notes? No, I guess I don't. But Flash is supposed to come out this fall, and then Aquaman is supposed to come out in December. So Flash, I think, was like October or November. And I know they just had this big push. Like I went to see the Batman, and they had this like kind of teaser before of like 2022, the Batman, Black Adam, Aquaman, and the Flash.
It was that one that they put out a couple weeks ago, right?
Exactly, with the footage from Black Adam that we talked about. Yeah,
right.
So
that was a whole thing of like, we're doing this. No, we're not. Never mind.
I know. So kind of bummed out just because I was really. I mean, we still get to see Black Adam this year, so that's like, and we get to see Shazam a whole 6 months sooner. And honestly, Shazam is the first Shazam I love so much. I'm very excited to see the sequel. So I'm very pumped we get to see Shazam sooner. Just super bummed that we have to wait, especially for The Flash, to see that, because we've been waiting for that. This is like, I think it's the 6th time that The Flash has been delayed. Most of them, like The Flash was supposed to come out in like 2018 or something. Like they've been trying to get a Flash movie together for such a long time. Directors came, directors left, writers came, writers left. It just kept getting pushed and pushed and pushed. So
we're on the Morbius track with that.
Yes, but I think the reasons for this are less mysterious than Morbius.
The thing is with this, like with the note that it is visual effects, it's kind of crazy because when we were thinking about and talking about numerous times about all these COVID delays, it's all in shooting and getting people into a place, but they're really the back end of it is just as intense and just as time intensive and space intensive.
Sure.
Even minor reshoots and touch ups and stuff like that. It's gonna be interesting. Like it's just that extra piece we never even thought of for a lot of these, and that may be part of the reason why Marvel did the same thing.
Yeah, of course. I mean, think about Black Panther.
Yep.
A movie that was delayed for COVID and then also was shut down so Letitia Wright could heal from her concussion and come back. That's all like front end, like you said, like production level delays. And that of course is going to set back everything else. You can't add CGI to a scene if you haven't filmed the scene yet. So, you can't start post-production until you've finished production. So, production delays are going to cause post-production delays. So of course, and they probably, for whatever reason, they probably just think that Aquaman or The Flash would do good in the fall. And so they're bumping it to next fall. And honestly, like it is a bummer, but if it means that the movie's going to look way better and not be rushed to hit a deadline, then delay it. I don't want to see a Flash movie and have it look like he's running in front of a green screen,
Right, exactly. And that's it's funny because of those, Shazam is probably the most practical effect heavy compared to Aquaman and The Flash.
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously a lot of CGI, but like, David Sandberg used it well in the first one. Have you seen the first one yet?
I have not.
Come on, Steve. Shazam!
I know.
It's great.
It's literally on that list of like, I should watch that, and then every time I'm like, oh, I still haven't caught up on this, or I haven't caught up. It's like my pile of graphic novels at this point.
Yeah, same.
Which of course I just added another one to today. So.
Ooh, what'd you add?
Well, something I've read numerous times and used to own the floppies at one point, but Volume 1 of the Remender Uncanny X-Force, which if you haven't, have you read that?
That's the one where it's like Archangel and Wolverine and Psylocke and Phantom X.
Yeah, Phantom X and Deadpool. Yep.
Yes, I've read part of it. I haven't read the whole run, but I have like a couple volumes of it. I'm not sure where in the run.
Yeah, that may be one of my single favorite runs of anything of all time. Like it perfectly captured everybody involved in the run. It was very well done. But now I have it physical again. So I want them to reprint the omnibus because I don't know why they take these things out of print, especially on demand ones. because you can't get one under like $160 or something stupid for a 6-volume omnibus. Like, come on, guys.
That is a bummer.
So now that we've completely derailed.
Yeah, it's fine. No, it's fine because you just reminded me of something that we should touch on when we get to the comic section.
See, we're just running it on the fly. Building things in.
So adding a thing in there. So yeah, anyway, this is a bummer, or it's partially a bummer and partially cool. Like, hooray, we still get to see Black Adam this year. We still get to see DC's League of Super Pets. We still get to see Shazam 6 months earlier. That's awesome. Just a bummer that we got that Aquaman and the Flash get pushed so hard. But it was the first with the first Aquaman movie too. I was like, the CGI in this movie better be incredible because 90% of it's going to be underwater.
Right.
And it was. They nailed it. I thought the CGI on that movie was great, and it looks beautiful. I love the way that movie looks. It's the best thing I can say about that movie. That's not true. There's some other good stuff about it, but
no, it's definitely one of I have been remiss, like going back a little. I've been completely remiss in not watching Shazam, so I will.
Yes, you have.
I will make up for. I will have penance on that coming up momentarily.
David Sandberg, the director of Shazam and the second Shazam 2, Fury of the Gods is the subtitle. He posted something about it saying, because the Shazam suit is like updated. They made some like tweaks to it or whatever. And he's like, well, my plan for when people ask me why did he get a new suit was just going to say, oh, the Flash ran through some stuff and changed his suit when he came out. But now I can't say that anymore because the Flash comes after. So I don't know. It's Black Adam did it. So,
there you
he's
go.
just like making a joke about the tiny details that people need answers for that don't really matter at all. Yeah.
We have picked those nits before on this podcast.
Yes, exactly. All right, staying with DC for a second. Moving into, we talked about the Batman quite a bit last week. I did my own review of it. We did a review. That was last week, right?
Yep.
I know when we did anything anymore. Doing this weekly has really shattered my concept of time and when they all blend together. I can't tell if it was last week that I talked to you about something or 2 weeks ago that I talked about something, or if we have talked about it yet. It's just
and now you throw in crazy things like the Kenobi trailer dropping and it being insane enough that we had to do an emergency podcast. And time is just a construct. It's a flat circle at this point.
Yes. If you're listening to this wondering when we're going to talk about the Kenobi trailer, we're not, because we did a special singular episode about it. So that should be in your feed or in the feed for this show. So you can go find that. We talked for about a half hour about a 2-minute trailer.
Yeah.
So
no, it was 38 minutes because I remember I told my wife we were going to stay under 45, and we did. I was proud.
I told my wife we were going to stay under a half hour, and we did not. So, yeah.
Fair enough.
38 minutes. Anyway, spinning off the world of The Batman, a movie that continues to crush at the box office despite it being 3 hours long. We got news, or we had some news months ago, long before The Batman was released, that Matt Reeves was going to produce a spin-off of the Batman. Several. We heard about the Penguin, and we also heard about a Gotham City Police Department show that was going to be about the good cops weeding out the bad cops in Gotham City, and it was going to be a prequel, actually, to the Batman. And I believe Jeffrey Wright was supposed to be in it as Commissioner Gordon.
Yep.
So we got that a long time ago, and recently Matt Reeves was asked about it. And basically, they're not doing that anymore. Now they have shifted the focus of the show or changed their minds. I guess I don't know. We're going to read a quote from Matt Reeves in a second. And now it's going to be more focused on Arkham Asylum and the inmates at Arkham Asylum, the people that work at Arkham Asylum. To me, immediately a much more interesting topic for a show, especially when we had 5 seasons of a show called Gotham, which was basically about Commissioner Gordon leading the Gotham City Police Department, even though that show was wild and wacky. I'm sure it would have been a much different tone if we got one of those from Matt Reeves, but now we're getting an Arkham show from Matt Reeves. And he had this to say. He said, the GCPD thing, that story has kind of evolved. We're actually now more into the realm of exactly what would happen in the world of Arkham as it relates coming off of our movie and some of the characters and their origins, almost leaning into the idea of it's like a horror movie or a haunted house that is Arkham Asylum. The idea, again, the way that Gotham is a character in the movie, I really want Arkham to exist as a character. You go into this environment and you encounter these characters in a way that feels really fresh. And so in our work on Gotham, that story started to evolve and started feeling like, wait, we should really lean into this. And then that's kind of where we've gone. So apparently in developing the show, they realized there was a more interesting idea out there and they're going for that. So I think this is very exciting because as I mentioned in the review that we did, no spoilers here, but the Gotham City in the Batman movie, you can tell is lived in. Like Batman's been Batman for 2 years. They don't go in and specify, but you get the feeling that he could have encountered some of his famous rogues gallery already. He's meeting the Riddler for the first time in the movie, but who knows if he is already tangled with Scarecrow or Mad Hatter or whoever. So I think it's very interesting that we could maybe get some of these characters debuting on the show, and then maybe they show up in the sequel to the Batman. Because I think, obviously, Batman's Rogues Gallery is a big reason that people like the character, because the villains are very interesting and crazy and wild and fun. And I think if you're giving us a show that may either tease or even spotlight some of those characters, maybe some of the lesser known ones that we haven't really seen in movies too much, maybe I would love to see like the ventriloquist or I don't know, I guess we got Killer Croc in Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
And I guess we got like who was I just gonna say? I mean, like Mad Hatter. I know we got Scarecrow was in the Dark Knight trilogy, but like I would love to see Matt Reeves' version of Scarecrow. There's just cool characters, maybe lesser known or even lower than Scarecrow and Ventriloquist or whatever, like lower tier Batman villains that could be cool if we saw them in this. So I don't know. What do you think, Steve?
No, and it's funny because you talk about Batman's Rogues Gallery, and probably the only comparable Rogues Gallery would be Spidey in as far as the weird diversity of people he's gone against over the years, and also those have been represented on screen. So there's a lot of different bodies out there and a lot of different faces that could show up in Arkham, and I get why they would make that pivot. Like there's, especially if he's been going for 2 years and a good number of these guys are locked up, and correct me if it seems insane, but like, do they interact in prison and come up with a Batman version of the Sinister Six, where these guys are teaming up, and as soon as they're breaking out or getting out, they're coming after Spidey in a coordinated manner. Notwithstanding the fact that the Sinister Six usually coordinates things and then just still goes at Spider-Man one-on-one for some ungodly reason. I don't know why over the last 80 years they haven't thought to all attack him at the same time, but apparently not.
I don't know.
I get if it was like Rhino because he ate that Bright, but like you'd think Doc Ock or Vulture would have figured this out at this point.
Yeah, you would think. But that's something you have to like accept when you're watching a superhero movie or a superhero TV show. Is
Right.
that like, Daredevil, Batman, whoever, they're going to face 10 different guys and maximum 2 of them will attack him at the same time.
Right. Like you have Dr. Otto Octavius, you have Dr. Kurt Connors for Lizard. Like there's some smart folks here. You should have figured it out in all these years.
Figure it out. But yeah, really, I mean, I can see them doing a lot of different stuff with this show. It could be about the people that work there and how maybe the place itself drives people a little mad. Like, I don't know, maybe we get, Dr. Harleen Quinzel working at Arkham Asylum, and that's just, she doesn't even come close to becoming Harley Quinn, but that's just like where she's working. Maybe she's a character, you know what I mean?
Oh, would they get her to play the straight man too? Like not just the Harley Quinn character?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you do like the losing her mind,
Right.
like before she meets the Joker, like she could just be a character on the show. Like, I don't mean like why? Who knows? Maybe she worked at Arkham for 3 years before she met Joker. Like who knows? Like she could just be a regular character, and we at home could always be waiting for the time where she's going to start going crazy. Maybe she never does. But there's like a lot of things they could do with either staff or inmates or both, and I think that could be really cool and still leave it open enough to not steal anything from a Batman movie, because I guess I would be surprised if we really saw, I can see maybe a cameo from Robert Pattinson in any of the HBO spinoffs, but I can't see him being like a big part of those, the Penguin show or the Arkham show now. But
and sorry, I was Googling furiously because I could not remember Margot Robbie's name, and I was literally trying to like, do they get her back to play that straight man?
Well, remember the Batman takes place on Earth 2, takes place in a different reality than the main DCEU continuity.
Yeah, but could they do that? Like,
I mean, they could. I would love if she just kept playing Harley Quinn in both, but also she's Margot Robbie, so similar to Robert Pattinson, I don't know that they would be able to get Margot Robbie for a series. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean
it's a pretty high prestige series, and Colin Farrell's doing the Penguin one, so you're right. Who knows?
Ewan McGregor is Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah, that's true.
Kumail Nanjiani is in that series doing nothing. Like, we haven't even seen his character. He's going to be in, like, 3 episodes at most, if you're
you're right.
He's off in the first half, so.
And friggin' Taron Egerton is Uncle Owen.
Right. They're throwing throwing things at.
You're right.
Throwing money at people.
I guess I'm saying that because we haven't yet had an HBO Max. Oh, no, that's not true. Peacemaker. We did have an HBO Max Prestige DC tie-in. And yeah, John Cena played that. He's in every episode. So you're right. Maybe they could get Margot Robbie. Who knows? But also, they haven't said anything about using Harley Quinn. This is just us speculating completely.
Wild speculation.
Harley and Quinzel. It just would be a cool idea.
Yeah.
Just one of the many things you can do with an Arkham show that you can't necessarily do with a GCPD show, unless I feel like maybe it was like, oh, if our main GCPD cop guy goes to Arkham and to talk to this villain, and they just like kept writing where people kept going to Arkham, and they're like, why don't we just make it about Arkham? You know?
Right. Yeah, we have a whole. They were trying to make a whole series out of the Titans episodes where they go to talk to Scarecrow.
To Crane. Yeah. They're like, every episode that we're writing has somebody going to Arkham Asylum. Let's just have the thing at Arkham Asylum. Anyway, so we will see. Sense. It would make way too much sense, but they're doing it. So excited for that. Moving from DC into Marvel, we got 2 Marvel updates about directors. And one of them is a pretty big one because it's a movie we haven't heard anything about in a long time. And what we know about it is very little. Deadpool 3. Shawn Levy has been tapped to direct Deadpool 3. Shawn Levy is re-teaming with Ryan Reynolds. They just worked together on his last 2 movies, or 2 of his most recent movies, The Free Guy and The Adam Project. Both came out this year. He's the one on Netflix with The Rock that came out this year too. I don't think he did that one, but so 2 of the last 3 Ryan Reynolds movies this guy's directed. And he's going to do Deadpool 3. We know that Wendy Molyneux and Lizzie Molyneux-Logelin were hired to write the movie in 2020. We also learned that the writers of the first 2 films, Rhett Reese and Paul Winnick, are coming back to take a pass at the script. Levy is taking over for David Leitch from the Keanu Reeves punching a bunch of people. John Wick series, yes. And who took over for Tim Miller, who directed the first one. So, 3 movies, 3 different directors. Sometimes that works out. Levy, if you're unfamiliar with the name, he's a producer and director of Stranger Things. He's directed a couple episodes each season of Stranger Things and is executive producer. He's also done the Night at the Museum franchise, the Cheaper by the Dozen movies, Real Steel, Big Fat Liar, and some other family-friendly
movies,
comedies.
Very not Deadpool-y movies.
Yeah. Steve, is this a weird choice?
Yeah, Ben Stiller playing a museum attendant does not correlate to Ryan Reynolds being Wade Wilson, and just
no.
There's no Venn diagram that overlaps Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe with people trying to run around a museum. There's nothing there.
I know.
I'm also
it's a weird choice.
I need to note, every time I see a director that's last name is Miller, in my brain it's always going to be Chris Miller from Lord and Miller fame.
Sure.
I saw Tim. I'm like, that's not the right. Oh, okay, got it. But yeah,
they would probably be pretty great on a Deadpool movie.
Yeah, I could see. I mean, it's a slightly different different comedic tact, but I think they could pull it off.
I feel like they could do it pretty well.
Yeah, I'd agree.
But we're not getting them. We're getting Shawn Levy. I don't know. My theory about this is that he clearly has a good relationship with Ryan Reynolds.
Yep.
And I feel like Ryan Reynolds has more control over the Deadpool movies than any other headlining superhero star has control over the movies that they are in. I think
100%.
that Ryan Reynolds really kind of owns the franchise in many ways. And he probably, I mean, again, he has a good relationship with Shawn Levy. He probably sees it as like, okay, this guy, we work together very well. Maybe this is a guy that will listen to me and do the things that I want to do, because I think that's why Tim Miller did not come back for Deadpool 2, is that he butted heads with Reynolds a little too much. I think I remember hearing that.
Oh yeah.
They didn't get along. I haven't heard that about David Leitch, so I don't know why he's not coming back. But I feel like a director not returning is probably because Ryan Reynolds wanted to do something else. And I feel like this is a director that maybe will do what Ryan Reynolds wants to do because they get along very well.
Yeah, and I've actually heard very good things about the Adam Project. I haven't seen the other whatever the other one was. Free Guy.
Yeah, I heard Free Guy was
about,
it was fun. I heard it was fun, but not like a great movie, but like a cheesy popcorn fun movie.
Yeah, but Reynolds. It is kind of insane to think like he was the one. He has so much control, and he was the one that wanted to make the Deadpool movies to make amends for the stupidity that happened in Wolverine, and like it's good to see that his wishes are being honored, but also kind of weird. But I don't know. I mean, as long as the writers are of their own ilk and we can figure it out from there, I think we'll be in for more Deadpool happiness.
I mean, regardless of the movies this guy has made, he clearly knows how to make a movie.
Yeah.
Oh, if he's given a script that has, R-rated stuff in it, he's going to make an R-rated movie. That's just the way that it is. So he's not going to, like you said, he's going to direct the script that clearly Ryan Reynolds is very passionate about. Mm-hmm. He's not going to move forward with Deadpool 3 until he likes the script. There's no way.
Absolutely.
And so we will be, I don't know. I feel like I forget it. This is unfair. I feel like I forget about the Deadpool movies because there are not that many of them and you don't hear about them very often.
Right.
Because it has taken, especially to make this one, it's taken so long to make a Deadpool 3. Do you remember there was rumors about making an X-Force movie for a while?
Yes.
Right before Disney bought Fox.
Yep. And it was right before, was that right before Deadpool 2?
I think it was
I think Deadpool 2 was originally supposed to be the X-Force movie, and then they shoehorned the X-Force stuff into the original launch, and that's so now you just have Domino and
Cable
and Deadpool himself.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we lost Shatterstar and whoever else died coming out of the plane.
But you can make an X-Force team. It doesn't matter. They don't have to be the right ones, Yep.
I mean, we literally just talked about my favorite X-Force book, not involving Cable or any of the outside of Deadpool, any of the earlier iterations. So
so I don't know. Like, I honestly think the first Deadpool is one of the greatest superhero movies ever made, and I hate that I forget about it. But I only forget about it because there's never like announcements. There's never talk. He's not, It's taken so long to make this third one. So I don't know. It's a bummer. I saw somebody online because Shawn Levy, as I previously mentioned, has directed Real Steel, which is a movie that starred Hugh Jackman. Someone online is saying like, Shawn Levy has a relationship with Ryan Reynolds and he has a relationship with Hugh Jackman. They're going to bring back Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. Finally, they're going to fight in this movie. I don't think that's going to happen. Two, I really still just don't want that to happen. Logan was like just the perfect buy.
Send him off.
But, it was also the perfect goodbye for Xavier, and seemingly he's going to be in Multiverse of Madness. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
at least with
how I
that,
feel
there's
about that.
multiversal shenaniganery, if you will.
Yeah, yeah.
But
I can see them doing it, but
yeah,
I can see them doing it in a way that I think it's fun, but I guess I just don't. I don't know. I don't want him to. I don't want to see him as Wolverine ever again, and I feel like that's semi-sacrilegious to say as
yeah,
a comic book nerd. But I just I want
it,
Logan to be the last thing
it was a good
for him.
bow on it.
Perfect bow on it.
I do think if they need to, or if they do bring back, well, actually, Liev Schreiber is older now, so who knows how it would work. But I really, for all the faults of that movie, loved his take on Sabretooth.
He was the best thing in that movie.
Yeah,
I thought he was great as Sabretooth. So
yeah, and the dynamic between him and Jackman worked, and then the rest of the movie happened.
Yeah, terrible. What a bummer. In other Marvel directorial news, Michael Giacchino will direct Marvel's Werewolf by Night Halloween special for Disney Plus. Now, this is something we've been hearing about on and off for months. If you're familiar with Michael Giacchino but can't think of a movie or show or anything that he's directed, that's because he's not a director. He's a composer. Michael Giacchino is a composer for the Tom Holland Spider-Man trilogy and Doctor Strange, so clearly has worked with Marvel in the past and no stranger to the world of the MCU. He's also the composer on The Batman, The Incredibles, which is one of my favorite scores ever, Rogue One, the Jurassic World films, many Pixar films, many Mission Impossible films. He's actually directed 2 other shorts, a Star Trek short and one other short film, I think, of his own.
That I can't remember.
But this is interesting. I didn't until today, I didn't realize that he had directed anything. And we're getting a composer directing Werewolf by Night. Steve, how do you feel about this?
Will he also do the music? Because that music for
that's my question as well.
Everything he's done has been amazing. So, like, does he put his own spin on that too? Because that'd be kind of awesome.
I don't know. You'd think that if he doesn't do it himself, he's certainly going to be very nitpicky. It's going to be hard to work with. The composer that does is going to probably hard to work with him.
Yep. The one thing with the Werewolf by Night, it's like, it's odd to see where it's going to come in, because especially with Moon Knight already dropping and some other tie-ins down the line, is this where Blade shows up?
Whoa, I hadn't thought about that.
It just popped into my brain, so I do think
it's possible that we've talked about it because of in the Moon Knight trailer, he's beating somebody up that kind of looked like a wolf or a monster, or kind of could have been a werewolf. And we know Moon Knight was introduced in the Werewolf by Night series, so I think that they're doing like a little switcheroo. So I feel like we're gonna get a werewolf in Moon Knight, and then they will go on to be the werewolf in Werewolf by Night, or it will be connected to this Halloween special somehow. I don't know. I'm very excited about this. I don't know how he is as a director.
You excited about something to do with Halloween, really? Never would have guessed this, Mike.
Yep. Big surprise. But yeah, I can't really say anything because I've never seen him direct anything, but if he's as good as directing as he is good at writing music, then great. Can't wait.
Absolutely. Same.
All right. So moving into comic books, ladies and gentlemen. The thing that I forgot to mention is that the Hero Initiative project we talked about a little bit ago in benefit of George Perez, famed artist and writer for both DC and Marvel Comics, who is suffering from cancer and has chosen not to pursue treatment. The Hero Initiative got together and were able to print a limited run of hardcover editions of his classic Justice League of America and Avengers crossover, which has not been in print in such a long time. It's a bummer that they only made a limit. It was only like 7,000 copies that they made for the entire country, which is crazy. And they shared a picture of George Perez seeing a copy of the book, holding it, smiling from ear to ear, seeing it was very heartwarming to see. Lovely that he's able to see his work in print again. What's not lovely about it is that because they're so limited, people have scooped them up and are selling them for thousands of dollars, hundreds and thousands of dollars on eBay, auction sites, online. Such a bummer. The speculator market is a pain in the ass when it comes to comic books anyway, but this kind of thing is, I don't know. It's a bridge too far. It's worse.
Yeah, I mean, if it wasn't, it's one thing if it's just like a run of something, but like to do that for a run of books that have been put out specifically for a reason.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, guys. Have some semblance of, I don't know, some decorum, but apparently that's too much to ask.
Yeah, I mean, it just feels like icky. Like you bought the book, but then you're also trying to sell it for way more money for yourself. Like you're not going to donate that money to the Hero Initiative or to George Perez. Like, come on, what are you doing? It just feels gross.
Yep.
Don't do that. Don't do that, guys.
When all else fails, don't be that guy.
Don't be that guy. All right, so that's what I wanted to mention that was happening this week. Other main story in comics tonight, the queen of Twitter, queen of comics herself, Gail Simone, is returning to comic book writing. She's been writing other stuff. She's been writing, I don't know, she's been helping out with movies and TV shows and things like that. She hasn't written comics in a little bit, besides like a one-shot here or there or an anthology story. She's returning to comics with a miniseries for Marvel called The Variants. There's a story about Jessica Jones coming to face with different versions of herself from the multiverse. Can she get along with her other selves, or will she just want to kill them instead? It's a 5-issue miniseries that debuts in June. Phil Noto is the artist. This sounds really cool because Jessica Jones is a character that has been reinterpreted many times since her incarnation. It's like, it was a character that I feel like they couldn't really find something that worked for her until, I don't know, in my mind, until they nailed it with the Netflix show.
Yeah.
That's my favorite interpretation of that character. You know, and she was like a straight up superhero for a while. She was the detective. She was the angry alcoholic that we see in the Netflix show. And so, and I believe that is the main version of her in the comics, something akin to the Netflix series, I believe. And so it's going to be that version of her, I think, that has to deal with all the other more positive outlook, maybe the more superheroic versions of herself. And I mean, it's Gail Simone. Gail Simone can write anything. She's written some of the best runs of comics that I've read. Maybe Birds of Prey, Batgirl runs are historic, incredible runs. She's also written Deadpool. She reinvented Deadpool. She's written Iron Man. She's written everybody. Red Sonja.
She's just amazing.
Yeah. So I'm pumped about this.
The one thing that I didn't notice until and yes, I did read this in the show notes, but I missed this line. Phil Noto on art that's going to be real good.
Yeah.
I am really looking forward to this now.
Yeah, me too. Just love seeing Gail Simone's name on books because it's been too long. This week, coming out in your local comic book store, we got Avengers number 54, Batman Superman World's Finest number 1. I gotta say, I don't remember the name of the creative team on this, but I've seen the art and preview pages from this, and it looks spectacular. Just like bright, beautiful colors and character designs, like just exactly the way you want to see Batman and Robin and Superman depicted, just like bright and beautiful classic comics. And it's cool that they're bringing back the World's Finest banner. And we got Blue and Gold number 7, Carnage number 1, Flash number 780, King Spawn number 8, Justice League 74, Nightwing 90, Wonder Woman 785, and X Lives of Wolverine, what I have written in the show notes, clearly a typo, of Wolverine number 5. Are you following the X Lives and Death stuff?
No, that I'm waiting for a trade on because I know I'm gonna want it in physical, and my limited subscription ran up, and I haven't resubbed solely because I'm trying to get through my physical stuff, and I know if I have it at my fingertips, I'm just gonna keep plugging away at everything I've got on unlimited. So I'm waiting until I catch back up on my physical stuff until I resub. So definitely waiting for that one in physical because I haven't heard. I'm actually like keeping myself spoiler free on it too, as to how good or bad the run is, because I'm going to own it either way. So I'll fill you in on like we do standard. We'll fill each other in way too late on things as far as spoilers and seeing them. It's like, oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, sounds good.
Saw this 3 months ago. Great. Or 3 months later.
I still have to read the Tom Taylor's all-new Wolverine run that I just hear is incredible, that I've never read.
That one's on the list too.
Yeah.
So
got to get into it at some point. I made a concentrated effort this weekend to try to put a dent in my stack that I haven't. Because I went to the comic book store and picked up books, and the guy handed me what I had in my box, and I couldn't remember if I was missing one or not. It's because I haven't read like the last 3 of like Nightwing or whatever. I was just like so behind. I was like, wait, this says 90. Did I get number 89? I don't remember.
Yep.
So he had to like look it up and tell me. He's like, yes, you bought it. I was like, okay, yeah, it's just home under a giant pile of other books that I haven't read. Great.
By the way, I looked up. I completely forgot that Taylor All New Wolverine. I did not realize you were talking about the Laura debut episode.
Oh yeah,
omnibus. Yeah, that was absolutely phenomenal.
I know. That's what I hear.
Yeah, read it yesterday. After you get through the rest of everything.
I know.
So.
All right, moving on into one-shots, and we got quite the amount of one-shots tonight.
Seriously.
So who knows? We may end up digging in a little bit more than we normally do, especially this first one's a little bit lengthy for a one-shot, but got a lot of detail to it. We reported a few months ago that CW was developing another DC show because they clearly don't have enough. They just got to rebrand themselves as like a DC-only network, DCW. Why not? Why don't they just call themselves that? It's right there.
Oh, no, DCW makes, like, cardboard stuff for card storage. Never mind.
Oh, maybe that's why they can't.
There's probably a trademark.
All right, well, they're developing a Gotham Knights series, which is different than the comic books, different than the video game that we're going to hear about in a second here. It's going to be about, I don't remember the exact plot description, but it was like Batman's dead, and this is his adopted son teaming up with some bad guys or some sidekicks or whatever to try to like solve a thing or whatever. I don't know. And we all thought, oh, that must be Dick Grayson. Nope, we were wrong. Anyway, we got some casting for Gotham Knights. Fallon Smythe has been cast as Harper Row, aka Bluebird, character that was in lesser known. She's like a lesser known Bat Family member, sidekick member that was invented by Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo. Tyler DiChiara is going to be playing her brother, Cullen, a character who is gay in the comics. He's going to be a transgender on the show. Olivia Rose Keegan is playing Dula Dent, who's also known as the Joker's daughter in the comic books. But she also claims to be the daughter of Two-Face, hence the last name, and like Scarecrow and Catwoman and tons of it. That's like her thing. And she's kind of crazy. Very strange choice, if you ask me. Another strange choice, or not a strange choice, but one I didn't see coming. Navia Robinson has been cast as Carrie Kelly, character who is Robin in Frank Miller's The Dark Knight Returns series, which takes place in the future. So this is definitely an outside of regular modern DC continuity kind of show. And we also got Oscar Morgan as Turner Hayes, which is a character created for this show, but it also rumored that Turner Hayes is going to be the character that is the adopted son of Bruce Wayne in this show. So,
because he's got to have one.
Yeah, well, I know, but that's the thing. Like, I guess it's weird. I mean, maybe that's not confirmed. So maybe this Turner Hayes character is not the adopted son of Bruce Wayne. But if he is, I gotta ask myself, why wouldn't you just go with one of the 4 that exist in the comic books? You got Tim Drake, you got Jason Todd, you got Dick Grayson and Damian. Well, Damian Wayne's not adopted. Damian Wayne's his actual kid, but like you got 3 adopted boys and 1 biological kid. And any of them could be this character.
Right. And any of these we haven't. I mean, have we seen Tim or Damian in live action?
Tim is in the 3rd season of Titans, but not as Robin. He's just Tim. He like helps Donna Troy. His parents work at that diner.
Yep. Okay.
And
I
he
got
ends
you
up
now.
helping Donna.
Yep.
Yeah, that's Tim. That's Tim Drake, who is also weirdly in The Batman. Not as Tim Drake, obviously, just as like a thug, but it's the same actor. I was like, that's Tim. That's weird.
Getting around the DCEU.
Yeah, he really is. Yeah, getting that DC money. But anyway, it's weird to me that they or even like make it I don't know, like Luke Fox or like there's other like there's other characters that it could be. You don't have to make up a new character. It's strange to me that they would do that if that's who this person is playing, but I guess we'll find out whenever Gotham Knights airs. And that was a lot of talking for a one shot. So we're going to move into the next one. Take it away, Steve.
So in things that we already knew but didn't officially know, the HBO Max has officially ordered a Penguin series. So things that have been previously rumored and all but confirmed are now officially confirmed.
The HBO Max officially orders the Penguin series, the spinoff of the Batman.
Indeed, with the Colin Farrell.
With the Colin Farrell. And man, I know you haven't seen the Batman yet, but I know I said it in our review too, like very excited to see this Penguin series.
Yep.
Because I really, really liked Colin Farrell as Penguin. I thought he was great. And again, unrecognizable.
Right.
Speaking of Gotham Knights, Warner Brothers Games Montreal finally announces a date for Gotham Knights. It's coming out at the end of this year or the fall of this year, October 25th, 2022. This is one of the reasons I wanted a PS5. It's one of the reasons I currently own a PS5, knowing that sometime this year I'd be able to play a Bat Family game that I can't wait for. Even if it's a crappy game, I'm just going to love running around as Barbara Gordon or Red Hood.
Yeah.
It's going to be great.
And that's,
so I'm pumped for
it's
that.
funny because part of the reason I ended up with a PS5 is because of Midnight Suns that's supposed to be coming out in 2022 as well. So
there you go. I forgot that it's coming out the same year.
Yep. So we'll see a Gotham Knights, and I'm sure both of us will play both games because that's just what we do. So yeah. Moving beyond that, in other things that we know we didn't need but got anyways, Chris Abbott has been cast as the Foreigner in Kraven the Hunter because we're just adding more and more people to the Kraven.
Yeah, and they got to be close to filming, right?
If they've got this much of a cast, I would think so, unless they're just writing stuff to write stuff at this point.
We've talked about Kraven casting like every week for the last like 4 or 5 weeks. I feel like this keeps coming, and a lot of them are like named characters, like his love interest had an official name, like the Foreigner or the Chameleon. Like there's like a lot of like actual characters that are being brought into this movie. So the Foreigner, we had to look it up. Apparently, like a C or D list Spider-Man villain that doesn't even have any powers. He was married to Silver Sable for a while in the comics, I guess. And he's just like a guy that's in really good shape.
He gets the power of money.
Yeah,
I mean, it works for Batman, but
it does. It works for Iron Man too.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Again, Kraven up in the air. Who knows what that's going to be like? I'm sure we'll talk about it way too many more times.
Way more than we want to.
Have you seen Venom: Let There Be Carnage yet?
Nope.
No, neither have I.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it even not streaming yet?
It's not, you can rent it. I don't know if it's like actually streaming with a subscription.
Yeah, I'm not renting that one. Though I did pre-order No Way Home so that I can actually see a non-potato version of it.
Oh, nice. Yeah. We're going to talk about that momentarily as well. More casting news. Blue Beetle for HBO Max, original Blue Beetle movie, has cast Belisa Escobedo and Bruna Marquez. I practiced before, and I'm just always so bad with names. Marquezine and Harvey Julian. Marquezine will play Guillen. Okay,
Guillen,
thank you. Marquezine will play Milagro Reyes. I just wrote the same name twice. Sorry.
Escobedo will play Milagro
Escobedo
Reyes.
will play Milagro Reyes, Jaime's sister. Marquezine will play Penny, the love interest of the movie, and say it again because I already forgot how to pronounce it. Guillen. Next time, I'm just going to give all the names that I am bad at pronouncing to you. That's
works.
how I'm going to divide up the one shots. Guillen has been cast as an unknown role, so who knows? But again, more casting. Can't really dive into it because we don't know. We don't know anything about this movie yet. Similar to Kraven, but I'm still excited they're making a Blue Beetle movie. Yeah. Good to hear it's still moving forward.
Absolutely. Apparently Amazon is just continuing to develop any and all things that they can. We're now getting purportedly a God of War series in live action. So we're going to see somebody playing Kratos from the God of War series and the entire Pantheon. And I don't know whether we needed this, but we're getting it.
Wasn't there another... They're doing this. They're doing Lord of the Rings. Wasn't there another, like, swords and sandals thing that they were doing?
Oh, God. Yes, there is another big one. Wheel of Time, but...
Wheel of Time, yeah. But
I want to say there's another one. But, you know.
Man, they're really diving into They're really trying to attract that Game of Thrones crowd, I feel like.
Throwing Bezos money at it.
Yeah.
The Bezos bucks can develop whatever you want.
That's true. All right, we just got today the release date of season 3 of The Umbrella Academy on Netflix. Season 3 will drop June 22nd. This is a show that I love very much. And season 2 ended with a cool cliffhanger. I'm excited to see if they bring in elements from volume 3 of the comics and in what way that they do that, because this show, I've talked about this show, I think, before as an example of something that is radically different than the source material, but the changes are done in a great way to help the adaptation in a new medium. I don't think you could really do the comic directly. I don't think it would translate as well to a show. The show is a different tone than the comic book, but the show just does it in such a good way that it still makes it, I don't know, great. Big fan of both. Big fan of both. So June 22nd, I'll be glued to my Netflix watching Umbrella Academy season 3.
That's another one that's on the list of things to catch up on.
Yeah.
Umbrella Academy was the one that that's the series that Gerard Way
Yep.
wrote, right?
Gerard Way from My Chemical Romance and Gabriel Ba on art. Yeah, the books are nice. Great. Like I picked them up after I read volume 1 of Gerard Way's run on Doom Patrol, which is
I could see that fitting from what I've heard about Umbrella Academy. I could see him fitting on Doom Patrol too.
Yeah, that book blew my mind. The Grant Morrison has this like legendary run on Doom Patrol that I hadn't read any of. I started with the Gerard Way run.
Yep.
It was just so bright and incredible and ballsy and weird and insane that I was like, honestly, that book is what made me want to make my own comic book.
Oh, there you go.
So I owe that book.
We've now found your muse.
Yeah. But because of that book, I was like, I need to read other stuff that this dude has written because I like his band, but like I didn't know that he was this good of a comic book writer. So I immediately went to Umbrella Academy, which had been out. I think there's 2 volumes of it out already, and I just sucked those down immediately. They're great.
Nice.
They're super cool. And again, radically different than the show, but in a way that works for the different medium. So
that's all you can ask for.
All we can ask for. So, good storytelling.
Speaking of things we can ask for, and now have gotten, even though it was bumped previously, it is now Spider-Man Home. Let's
Spider-Man
try that
Home?
one again.
No way!
Let's rewind this. The water's hitting me heavy tonight. Spider-Man No Way Home is coming to digital download a week early, this Tuesday the 15th on Vudu, and probably Amazon, and I think if you pre-order it from any of the other places as well. But mostly because I pre-ordered it through Apple and was told that I can watch it this week. So I think now everybody's gonna have it early. And yeah, it was originally supposed to come out in February, bumped to March, and now moved back up a little. So
awesome. I was really hoping that, corporations would never do this when money is on the table.
Right.
And certainly a lot of money was on the table for this movie, Way Man Spider No Home.
Yes.
But I was really hoping that they were just going to give us all a nice Christmas gift and drop it on Disney Plus or something. Yeah. Or no, not day and date, but just like, Happy New Year. Here's, the 3rd highest grossing movie of all time. But they didn't do that. But cool that it gets bumped up. I'm dying to see this movie again. My wife's dying to see it, so we get to, maybe this coming weekend, we get to like finally sit down and check it out. Because I don't know if you heard our spoiler review of it, I was someone that was looking for holes in it more than just sitting back and enjoying it. So I am excited to go in this time knowing what it is, knowing where my expectations need to be, and just sitting back and enjoying it and laughing at it and not caring about all the little things that don't make sense. And you know what? I hope they don't bother me. If they still bother me, then that's a different story. But I think I'll be fine with a lot of the stuff that bugged me the first time. But
I would say so, because like for me, I was the opposite. I was watching a cut of it that I couldn't see anything on. Yeah. And I was still like, I was enjoying it because I couldn't look for that minutia, I think. Like there was literally no chance for me to see the detail that was like the stuff that could break things apart. So it was like I was just sitting back for the ride and trying to figure out what that pixelated mess was.
Yeah, but I went into it with an attitude too. Like I went into it like arms crossed, like, all right, Spidey, show me what you got. You're supposed to be so good.
Yep.
Show me how you're gonna balance all these other characters and make it work. I dare you. So I was like, okay, fine.
I guess he took that dare.
Yeah, they did it, I guess. Good job. Yeah, I think that's all we got. We got anything else?
No, I think that may be our first, prior to Moon Knight dropping at the end of this month, that was our first sub 1 hour podcast we've done in a good long time.
Quite some time. I'm trying to think if I did anything else like nerdy worth talking about. I don't know. It's not really nerdy. I saw the new Scream movie.
Oh yeah, how was that?
The other night. I liked it a lot. I thought it was very good. I gotta say, I know you're not like a huge horror guy. I don't know if we have listeners that are into horror movies. I know you like some stuff.
I'm probably more than most, but nowhere near like you and our friend Dave.
Sure. I gotta say, I think Scream, especially like cementing kind of with this movie, I think Scream is the most consistent slasher franchise in terms of quality.
Yeah.
Of all time. Like if you put it up against like, I don't know what, Halloween, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Alien, even like Alien, stuff like those movies, there's some real bad ones, or they go off the rails, or they're just insane. Mm-hmm. Scream is always really pretty good. Like even like the third one is like universally kind of like seen as like not great, but it's still fun. It's still fun to watch it. And all the others are like really like Scream 4. I went into Scream 4 being like, this is going to be dog shit. Terrible sequel, and it's like one of my favorite ones. Like it's so good. I love it. So I liked Scream 5. It's probably my third. I would say it's my third favorite. I'd say it's original Scream, Scream 4, and Scream 5, and then Scream 2, which I also love Scream 2. And how is like you're telling me like I got a ranking where a movie that I love is the second to last? Like that's it just speaks volumes about the franchise.
I would say so.
That's the only thing I can think of. That is,
what year did that original one come out?
Like 96 or 95 or something. Like
it was definitely on the early end. I think like junior high-ish for us, somewhere in that era.
For sure.
So
I think I might have been in high school. I remember being in high school, and I remember being one of those things similar to Spider-Man No Way Home. Like so many people loved it and were like raving about Scream and how great it was. I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. Sure. I'm going to hate this movie. And so I went into it with that attitude, and I was like, yeah, whatever. But then I watched it like 15 years later as an adult, and I was like, oh, damn, this movie's great. Yeah. Why didn't I love this when I saw it when I was a kid?
Why did I have to be that guy?
I know. I just had to be. But yeah, if you got any horror fans out there that haven't seen the new Scream movie, definitely worth checking out. If you haven't seen all of the Scream sequels, do yourself a favor. Get yourself a marathon going, because it's fun, and it's worth it. I think.
I know I've definitely seen the first two.
Yeah.
I think I heard what you were talking about the third one and just avoided that, and then just never hop back on the wagon.
Yeah, you could probably. I mean, they like reference each other, but not enough to like. You could just jump right to 4 probably. But again, Scream 3 is fun. It's like, there's nothing bad about it. There's some bad stuff about it, but whatever. It's still fun. It's still fun is what I mean.
Fair enough.
So that's our little, I guess, horror corner at the end of our episode today.
Yeah, there you go.
But other than that, that's all I got, Steve. That's all you got.
No, I think that's everything from my end. I would say if you're listening, please like, review, and subscribe. If you're watching on Twitch, follow us. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe, ring the bell, do the whole 9 yards. Reviews really do help. 5-star reviews, any comments appreciated. If you need to get hold of us, check us out on social, The Multiverse Report, just about anywhere you can find us. Multiverse RPT on Twitter, themultiversereport.com for all of your multiversal needs. And I think that's a wrap from our end.
I got one other thing that I should have been saying for the last 2 weeks. I feel like I never talk about my music on this podcast at all, that I'm a musician, that I put things out. On March 4th, I released a new solo album called, what's it called? Somebody Other Than Me.
Yeah.
And it's up, you can stream it on my Bandcamp page, which is Carol's Kid, Carol with a K, Carol's Kid. .bandcamp.com. It's also on Apple Music and Spotify and all the streamers if you want to check that out. go listen to it. That's
Absolutely.
all. A little self-promotion. But other than that, that's all we got for you. So thanks for watching and thanks for listening. And until next time, we'll see you in the multiverse.